Welcome back to another episode of the RG MMA Show. I'm your host, the Fight Analyst Garrett Kerman, and with me is pro MMA fighter Cam Teague. How's it going, man?
Going good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I always love having you on here, talking fights, all that good stuff. You've been pretty impressive as of late, man. Let's talk about your 3-fight winning streak. How things kind of turned around since your last Contender Series fight back in 2024. Let's talk about that. 3-0. How's it going?
Yeah, I mean, I got whooped on the Contender Series. Took a short notice. I did what I could. Wasn't a whole lot, but I just went right back to work. You know, you can't let a setback keep you down. So I just went and kept fighting like I do. I stay active. You know, I picked up two fights. I picked up a fight like a month after I lost, and I got 2 wins in MMA. And then I did a boxing match because I was just sitting around trying to figure things out. And now it looks like I got another opportunity coming up.
Yeah, man. I mean, what was your? I mean, I know it was a setback, but you can't really take too much out of it, right? You went against arguably one of the best prospects on last season, Kevin Vallejo's, and look how well he did in his UFC debut. The dude's an absolute monster. He went toe to toe with Gene Silva. Look how well Gene Silva is doing. But what were you able to take away from that, and that's kind of helped you right now in your 3-fight winning streak?
Honestly, I didn't really take a whole lot away from it, other than I don't really like body shots too well. Like that one, he placed it really well on me, and because I feel like at the start of the fight, you know, I was landing good. I landed a big knee. I was landing my punches. I was just like, it's just like every other fight. You know, they hyped this dude up, and here I am. I'm putting it on him, but he slipped under my jab, got me good in the body, and that was pretty much all she wrote. So really been working on core strength and stuff like that, and just adding some tools. You know, I train at a new gym now. I got some new teammates and new coaches around me, so I've been just putting it together. I feel like now, if myself was to fight me on the Contender Series, I fought Kevin, I would smoke that guy too. So I think I'm doing all the right things that I need to do, and I'm progressing quickly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're one thing I feel like you pride yourself on is your toughness. I mean, you took some big shots. Like you got an absolute chin on you, and you can go to war with pretty much anybody that kind of throws out there. So, for someone to kind of take you out like Kevin did, I mean, kudos to him. But like you were able to get back in there. You showed your toughness, in your Island fights fight, and then you went into boxing. I mean, I'm sure that's not really your realm, but you came away with a second round victory. Why did you think going the boxing route to kind of stay ready was the right move for you before potentially getting this shot on the Contender Series again?
Well, I like to fight all the time, so I was trying to get another MMA fight in, but my management was like, "No, you're going to be on the Contenders," because my guy, he said he talked to Sean and stuff. They said they're going to throw me on there. Really, they were going to throw me on there after I just beat after my first win, like after the Contenders, but I don't like to sit, so I like guarantees. So they gave me a guarantee after I won my Island Fights one. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do boxing or something. I was actually going to try to do some dirty boxing too, but it's kind of too close to the Contenders. So I ended up not doing it. It would have been a fun fight too. I was supposed to get Bubba Jenkins. So I thought that'd be a fun dirty boxing fight, but I couldn't do it because Contenders is rolling around. They got me in September. Now I just need to kind of focus on that. But I was just trying to stay busy. I like to fight. A fight's a fight. Boxing's whatever. It doesn't go against my record. If I was to lose, it'd be like whatever. But I didn't. So.
So, Contenders coming up. You're gonna be in September, not the early first month. You'll be second month in on the Contender Series.
Week 5, I think.
Week
I don't
5.
know.
Okay.
Second month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the same time that I got last year, because last year it was in September too. I was like 22nd, so like week 7 or something like that. So
that's good, man. I mean,
this time I know before the season starts, I'm on it, right? So
right. So that's almost 4 months of kind of getting ready. How how is that kind of getting acclimated to getting so much time? Because you're used to, like you said, 3 fights, but and then less than a year. So how do you kind of get acclimated to having so much time to get ready for your opponent?
I don't know. My official camp starts today, but I train all the time, train every day. But we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna start eating clean right here now for the next 3 months. Maybe I could look like a rock since I got so much time to prepare. But I don't know. Just more time for me to look at the guy, I guess. Which I don't really look too much at him, anyways. Like, I mean, the guy I am gonna fight is gonna be a fun fight for everybody. I know who it is, but he hasn't released his part yet, so I'll let him do that. But he knocks people out. I'll say that.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna get a fun Cam Teague type of a performance. That's what we're.
It's gonna be a stand up fireworks. That's guaranteed.
I love it because that's the best kind of fight for yourself and fight for the fans because that's where you really shine, and that's why I believe the UFC's kind of giving you your second shot and letting you show your capabilities again on the full camp because you're going to go in there, you're going to scrap, you're never going to back down from anybody, and you showed that last year. So I mean, given that opportunity, do you think that's the reason why your kind of style fighting is the reason why the UFC is like, yeah, give him another shot, let's see what he's made of, and and all that?
For sure. If I was one of these guys that takes people down, tries to drag out the fight, hold them on the cage, they wouldn't have called me back if I lost like that. But you know what you get every time you tune into my fight. It's fight of the night. That's what I try to pride myself on, and because at the end of the day, it's an entertainment business. I ain't trying to point fight with nobody. I ain't trying to get a decision. Like, I got a decision last fight on Island Fights, but if you saw that fight, man, I hit that guy with like 150 plus strikes, and he was bleeding all over the place. That guy, David, he's a tough guy, man. I gotta give it to him. I was trying to pride myself because he fought the PFL champ, and the PFL champ didn't finish him. So I was like, dang, if I go knock this guy out, I got that over the PFL champ. But I mean, I put it on him and he took it, so I understand why he couldn't probably put him out either. So I'm always going for the finish and always looking to make it the most exciting as possible for everybody. So at the end of the day, it's about the fans, more than just winning all the time, I guess.
Right. Like how does that mindset kind of go into a fight, especially like in the UFC on the biggest stage, right? Because when you're on the regional scene, yeah, you want to impress, you want to get a finish, but you don't want to lose, right? Because then you're not gonna get the chance to really showcase your ability on the big stage. But when you get to the UFC, you really have to it's more about entertaining nowadays more than it is just going out there and kind of winning. So like, how do you kind of deal with that mentality going into such a big fight on the Contender Series?
To me, I come into like a mindset like I don't care if I win, I don't care if I lose. I'm gonna go out there. I'm just gonna do what I do. If I get the win, it was just my turn to win. If not, it just wasn't my night. So I don't really try to think about it too much about like, oh man, I gotta make this exciting and win. I just do it. It's just natural to me. I just put it on them, and I mean, it's hard to be in a boring fight when you're constantly pressuring people like I do. So like a lot of people. You make people fight. My style makes people fight, is what I like to say. Like some of these guys I fought, like for like instance, Lingo, like he threw a whole lot against me. Like normally he doesn't throw as much. He picks his shots more and tries to bomb you out, lights out is what they call him. And I fought a couple of guys like that. They don't throw a whole lot, but if you pressure somebody constantly hitting them, their instinct is I'm gonna fight back. So you really can just tire people out, the people that aren't used to throwing the output that I throw can get caught up in it. So it normally just benefits me anyways to fight like this. So I've always fought like this, and I'll probably continue to do it until my head finally gives out, like everybody else. So hopefully that's in 10 years from now.
Yeah, man. I mean, you don't fight like a lot of other people, right? Because a lot of people, I'm not necessarily saying they use. I'm not saying you don't use technique, but like your technique is more pressure forward in your face, and that's the way you're kind of systematically breaking down your opponents. Like it's different when you're kind of in there, and like, do you feel your cardio and your pressure really your biggest advantages when you're up against your opponents?
For sure. I mean, that's how I got this far, is just breaking people. So, I mean, you can look at the Dallas fight too. When I fought Lingo, it wasn't pretty. Like, I was getting hit with big shots. I was giving them back, but a lot of people would like to just not get hit at all and just stay back. But sometimes, you fight somebody that's so technical and talented as some of these guys that I've been able to fight so far. You just gotta get it out the mud. You gotta out dog them sometimes. So I'm willing to do that every time if I have to. But I felt like last fight on the island fights that I was more, kind of laid back than I normally am. I was using my range, and I was putting it together more. I would try to like pick somebody apart like that if I could, but sometimes you just know, like, you just gotta make them work and make them throw. So just try not to get caught as much as you can and give it more than you get.
I like it. And you were talking about how now you're at a new gym and you're getting some new work in. How's that been? And where have you been working? And who have you been working with?
We opened up a new gym. My grappling coach did, so I just kind of went with him because it was more, that was my guy really at the old gym I trained at. So been getting a lot of wrestling in here with Blake Jordan here at AMP, and then I go over to ATT now and D'Aberville. I train with Brandon Davis. He's been in my corner now and helping me these last couple fights. So it's been really beneficial. I learned a lot of things from him. He was a 10-fight UFC vet, so can't beat it. It's pretty big down here. There's not too many of us down here. We had Jason, we had Brandon, and Alan Belcher back in the day, so that's pretty much it. And then obviously Brock was in for a little bit too, so I'm trying to become the second guy down here in Mobile to be in there like Brock. But I'm gonna start going over to Pensacola too, training over there with Devin Cushing and then some boxers, get some boxing sparring in, maybe help me move my head a bit more. Because like if I can make these guys miss sometimes, I can probably make a couple of MMA guys miss all the time. So I just been adding people to my camp and lots of driving, lots of like everybody's like an hour and a half away from me and just keep bouncing back and forth. So that's what I did this morning, bouncing back over here to Mobile.
Damn, put a little miles in on that car then.
Yeah, getting up there.
I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the upcoming fight night event here at the Apex UFC Vegas 107. I want to talk the main event and want to get your thoughts on who do you have winning between Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber in the flyweight main event.
I like Macy, so I think Macy gets it done. I think I think she can be a world champ one day. She was saying that a lot back in the day when she first got in, kind of quiet down a bit now, but I think now that she's got the skill set to do it, so I'll take her in that one.
Yeah, you think? Do you think the time off and like the injuries kind of will be at her disadvantage coming in against someone like Blanchfield, who's kind of push the pace, push the grappling pace that she does, and things like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, how long has she been out for now? Like,
I want to say if it's not a year, it's at least close to a year. I would say, if not more.
I feel like you can. She has enough time to prepare because she's probably been probably good for like 6-5 months now. So
yeah,
I still give it to her.
And we have a really big fights coming up in 2 weeks here in Newark, New Jersey. UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley, rematch for the bantamweight championship. Why don't you get your thoughts? Do you think there's going to be anything different? Merab's coming in now.
That. I don't like that for Sean at all. Like, I feel like when you get dominated by somebody like that, like the worst thing you can do is not fight anybody else and then come back and get them like a year later. Like, I feel like Sean needed to go fight Corey Sandhagen or something. If you fight Corey, got a win there and then looked impressive. Like who knows? Maybe he could. It's really hard to say like what improvement Sean can make in like a year to redo the fight pretty much. So because Merab's already got a win over Umar too. He's been busy, he's still been fighting, and I think we're gonna see the same thing, honestly. I hate to say it, though. I like Sean's fighting style and stuff, but like I said, just not fighting nobody and taking time off is the worst thing you can do after getting dominated like that if you want to fight that guy again.
I completely agree with you. It's kind of, I mean, I guess they needed the draw power, which is for that fight card, which is why they brought Sean O'Malley back. You know, everybody still likes Sean O'Malley,
Yeah.
even though, he's kind of been, you know, on his
That's
own
funny.
and
They're
not
probably
really.
paying him a lot of money to just take it, though. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not. I would
pretty
probably
much.
take it too if I was getting paid Sean O'Malley money. So, like, it's
No,
what it is.
I completely agree. But they were saying how he had like a hip injury coming into his title defense against Marab the first time. Do you think
Right.
that is going to be any different going into this fight, even if he's fully healthy? Do you think that even made a difference?
Man, I don't know because like the first 4 rounds he didn't do anything, and then the fifth round he finally like landed a pretty good body shot on Murado, like it hurt him, but like I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, Murad, he doesn't finish nobody, so like you'll be there for 25 minutes. So like, but like it's a hard 25 minutes. That dude's constantly dragging you around, constantly moving, constantly making you move. Like I'm surprised that Murad doesn't have like a lot of finishes, man. The way he fights, you would think that he would be able to get people out of there because he honestly he breaks them worse than me sometimes. Like when I'm fighting somebody, I guess it's different styles, like because I do it more on the feet, but he's like dragging you down, and still, I think Murad would have more finishes than he does, but I think we'll get a Murad decision again
Yeah,
here on O'Malley.
yeah, he is the machine for a reason. I mean, there's another very interesting matchup that was just announced on that same card, about 2 weeks ago, and that's the debut of Patchy Mix in the bantamweight division against Mario
Oh,
Batista.
yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on Patchy getting into the UFC, getting right into the mix of like a top 10 opponent, and where do you kind of see his ceiling is in the division?
I don't know. I don't know if he'll be champion, but I think he can definitely think he's gonna hang around, the top 10. Like he's got a talent to do so. That's why it would be kind of wrong for you not to throw a guy like that, somebody ranked out the gate, like you just make him fight some unranked guy. But I think he'll do well. I think he can compete, with the UFC guys. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we've been watching Patchy for a long time. Believe he's got over 20 wins, only one loss on his record. Bellator champion, multiple
Right.
title defenses. He's looking like the real deal. They're saying Marab has said numerous times that he thinks Patchy Mix is his toughest opponent out there right now. So it'll be
Right.
interesting to see if that finally comes to fruition. But he has to get through Mario Batista first. But
Right. I think he'll get through Mario. I think.
I think so
I'm not a
too.
big fan of all Mario Batista.
I don't think a lot of people are. Let's be honest. After his last fight, I think everybody hates him.
The polar opposite of what I like to do and stuff. Like he will drag you to a cage and hold you there. So
that is true.
I think Patchy won't let him do that though. So
no, I think Patchy's very good with his footwork and his grappling is top notch. He's able to get off the cage a lot better than old.
That's a UFC thing, man. The UFC knows that too. They're like, man, get this Mario guy out of here, man. Get this Patchy dude some hype. Let him beat up the guy nobody likes real quick.
It's crazy when you think about it that way, right? Where a lot of people are hating on Batista for winning the way he did. I mean, kudos to him.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do. But now they're giving a guy like Patchy to come in there and get all this hype.
Yeah, that's why I say it's an entertainment thing at the end of the day. Like if you go out there and fight similar to how I do, or Gagey or all these other exciting people that are in the UFC, like Topuria and stuff, they'll give you fights to make stuff like that happen. But if you're on their list, man, they'll find some people to beat you. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. And then I'm really excited for him to get into the mix, because the matchup that I want to see before he even gets a title shot, I want to see him go against Corey Sandhagen. I think that would be a fantastic fight. The title eliminator, I love Corey. I feel like he's getting pushed to the wayside, and I personally don't think it's fair, because he's looked great. I mean, look at his last couple wins, and I feel like at this time he deserves it.
They're like aging him out of contention now, because like what is he, like 35 now, like 34 or something like that? He's getting up there too. Like I'd like to see him fight for a belt too before it's said and done, but I don't know. I guess you just gotta roll with the punches, roll with what they give you.
Yeah, that's the hard part because like he is extremely entertaining. He got to finish his last fight against Davis Figueiredo. I feel like it's his time now. But I mean, now you got Patchy in the mix. If Patchy comes out there and does and dominates and looks impressive, man, it's gonna be tough to see where the UFC kind of goes. Do they go the Patchy route? Do they give Patchy a number one contender fight against someone like Corey Sandhagen, or they just give him the title shot right away? So
I don't think they'll do
know.
that, but I feel like Patchy's got to beat this guy, and then he'll have to beat somebody like Sandhagen, and then they'll give him, Mirage, because Mirage is gonna beat him out.
Yeah, I think everybody believes the same thing. And then later that month in June, International Fight Week, we have an absolute banger in the main event. UFC 317, Ilia Topuria coming up to lightweight, looking to become the next lightweight champ, taking on Charles Oliveira. I wanted to get your take on who you think wins that fight and who's going to be the next lightweight champ.
Well, I'm actually like a big Ilia fan, and I even fought the mini version of him, I think, on the Contender Series. Yeah. So I think Ilia will. I mean, I love Charles too, but I really feel like that's a UFC setting Ilia up there because Charles he's a dog and stuff, but he's chinny, and he's been sat down a lot, and a guy like Topuria doesn't just sit you down; he puts you out. So I think we'll see what Ilia did to Max and Old Volk to Charles.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
I like Charles a lot, but I am a big Ilia guy because like when Ilia first got in the UFC and stuff, I was like, man, this guy, he's got it, bro. You know what I mean? And there he is. Like I remember back in the day, like he was fighting Ryan Hall. People were like, "Oh, Ryan Hall is gonna sub him." I said, "You're crazy, bro! Like that guy will go down there with him and just finish him," and he did. So like,
that's exactly what happened.
I've been like ever since I like made that bet, I won that parlay on Ilia. I was like, this is my guy for now on, bro. Ilia. So I'm never gonna bet against him. So I'm going Ilia.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like like you said, I feel like it's kind of a setup because I don't think Charles is the toughest matchup for him. I personally think
I like to see Ilia and Gaethje, bro.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I feel like Gaethje was a much tougher matchup for Ilia than Charles is.
Yeah,
that would have been.
I feel like it's like a thing since Max beat Gaethje recently. They don't want to do that since Ilia beat Max. So I don't know. We'll probably see it though. We'll probably see it before it's said and done because Gaethje's gonna make one more run at the title. I know that before he's done, so.
I feel that's gonna be probably their next matchup at lightweight after if Ilia wins, of course. I feel like that's the next way to go. Even though Arman Sarukian definitely deserves his crack at the title, but after pulling out with that fight, they're like, nah, we're staying away from him.
They're gonna try to get him beat. He's on the list right now.
That's exact, bro. It's crazy because like he pulled out moments before the fight, and they're like, yeah, no, you're not fighting ever again for the title.
I think at that point you just got to tough it out, man. Like there's no way I pull out that close to a fight, like right there. I just do it, I guess. But because I guess then again, it is like his second time fighting Islam. If he loses to him, he probably doesn't get a third one. So unless like it's some Max and Volkanovski thing, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. I pulling out of a fight the week of, the day before, it's just crazy to me. So I don't know. Like, you got a lot of time to pull out before the week of the fight. I always like because there's been a couple of guys that pull out on me the week of the fight, or a couple like a day or two before. Then I have to fight, some guy that's got 2 wins and 10 losses, and it makes it look like I'm just like cherry picking guys. So like. I understand, but in the UFC is different, I guess. If you pull out like that, they will get you another killer.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing because that was the biggest fight of his career. You're talking about a title fight on a huge pay-per-view. You're not only messed yourself up, you messed the company up because now you put everything in an influx. You're talking about people bought tickets, people buying the pay-per-view. They came to see you. They came to see your opponent, and now you put the UFC in this bind where now they're just have to put in the flux. They put Moricano in there, and he got finished within moments. You know what I mean? So
and
now
everybody knew that was going to happen too. So like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So now he's got to go, and like now he's calling out Paddy Pimblett because he knows that's a high profile matchup. One that he probably no.
They're probably not gonna get. They're gonna give him somebody that they think that he can lose to. So, because I think he beats Paddy. Paddy's actually, I wasn't too high on him, but the Michael Chandler fight kind of changed that. But then again, it's kind of hard to say because Michael Chandler's kind of lost to everybody. But it's like, but the way that he beat him, because the other guys were like, in a war with him, and Paddy just. I don't know. I got some insider info though on the Chandler thing that I should have took a bet on. Like he was down here where I live at like the Mobile hospital because his wife's or whatever, they were having a kid or whatever. I forget what it's called, like surgico or like what's the thing that was somebody else has the kid for you because like him and his wife can't have children.
I think surrogate, right?
Yeah, surrogate, and I guess she was giving birth like here, like in the city where I live. He was down here like 3 days before the fight or something. Like,
oh wow.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe he wasn't locked in like he should have been. But yeah, I don't know if I should tell that world that, but I did. So. He was here a couple days before the big fight. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's lost to pretty much every single person that he's fought other than Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker. Those are only 2 wins. And I mean, granted, Dan Hooker's a good win, but Tony Ferguson not in the UFC anymore. And he's getting beaten. But the thing is, the way Paddy beat him was highly impressive because Charles had to go 25 minutes with him. 25 minutes with Chandler, which is kind of absurd considering everybody else has finished him. Gaethje, I believe went the distance with him as well. Someone who he should have finished him. Poirier finished him, but I mean, it took him a while to finish him, and Pimblett just made it look easy, like easy.
Like I'm saying, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like the next fight's super telling for Paddy. If he is that. I mean, obviously, you already are that if you're getting a top 5 opponent. I think so.
I'd say that. It's weird because he did. He like every fight we've seen him kind of slowly improving fight by fight.
He didn't win that Gordon fight though. I will say that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Gordon got.
That's not the same Paddy either. Now he's obviously gotten better. Like since that
it's definitely a big difference between that fight and then what we saw in Chandler. He's making strides every single fight. He's not a guy that's gonna staying stagnant and kind of regressing. He's always progressing and looking great. And Gordon too. Look at Gordon now coming off that huge knockout win of Thiago Moises. That was phenomenal. So
I've always been a fan of him. I got to do a round with him at the Kill Cliff too. So
he's the man, and he's a guy that kind of fights like your type of style, right? He's a guy who's going to come forward. He's gritty. He's got a chin on him. He's always going to look
a good story too behind him. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can't not like a guy like that, right? He fought through adversity in life and in the fight game to get to where he's at, and look at him now, just knocked out a very tough competitor in Moises.
A guy that nobody beats like that either.
No, he flattened him. Like I was very surprised because I thought it was just going to be a normal beatdown from Gordon where he just out volumes and just systematically breaks down his opponent. No,
because I felt like Thiago wasn't going to be able to just hold on to and take it down like he does most guys, but I did not expect him to get flatlined like that at early.
Bro, that right hand when it landed, he was done. He was lights out. That was impressive, and it's good to see him, on a win streak. I mean, he was coming off a very tough split decision defeat in his previous fight.
That's like Gordon gets the bad end of the stick in those decisions, man. About looking at it, and he fights everybody, man. He don't shy away from nobody. So
I mean, like two split decisions that could have gone his way that would put him out like possibly 5 or 6-0 in his last 6 fights.
Yeah, he'd be ranked in the top 10 if you got those 2 wins. Straight up.
Absolutely. But the thing is, going against like Paddy, it's very hard if you're fighting him and it's a somewhat close fight. It's hard to not, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
judges are gonna get swayed by the crowd.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And then the thing is with the lightweight division, I feel like Paddy can make a move up the division because there's not a lot of everybody they're aging, right? That division is very aging. Bringing in Topuria brings some new life into the division, and I feel Paddy could be on his way to a potential title shot with just one more win.
Oh, please! He wins his next fight, he's getting the title shot. I think that's a guarantee. We're gonna this is what the UFC wants. UFC wants Ilia to knock Charles out. Then they want Paddy to beat whoever, and that's the title fight. Because Islam went up to 170. They don't want to see Islam and Charles UFC. They want which I think is a crazy is the fight I want to see more than Paddy and Ilia. But UFC knows what's going to sell more is Islam being the 170 champ and Ilia fighting Paddy for the 155 belt. So they got a whole storyline, dude, like WWE behind it. It's ready to go.
It's funny because now that they're partnered with WWE, they know it's like people don't think of it that way, but like TKO and WWE, they know how to run these storylines, and I feel like they're kind of in cahoots with Dana White and like, okay, this is a way that we're gonna sell some tickets. Get Ilia.
This is how we would set up WrestleMania right here, Dana.
Exactly. I'm telling you, like, get Ilia the 155-pound title. Let Islam go to 170. Let him get the title up there. I mean, it's just like a magic in motion. You know what I mean? It's crazy because that's why they stripped Islam and then they made Ilia relinquish his 145-pound title as well. And that's why they're keeping John Jones the heavyweight title because they know there's no fight bigger than Jones and Aspinall at heavyweight ever. Like other than Ngannou coming back, right? And other than Ngannou coming back, there's no heavyweight title fight that would be blockbuster than Jones and Aspinall at this point. And so that's why they have to kind of keep him. Even though
I really don't know. I really don't know if Jones is actually going to do that fight. Though. It's hard to say the way that he's been acting and stuff. So
I don't know. It's tough because I feel like he's playing the mind games, right? I feel like he in his mind he knows he is or isn't going to take this fight, and he's just going to drag this out and play with Aspinall's emotions until the very very bitter end, whether he's going to fight or not, just to mess around with him at this point.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. He's doing this thing out in Thailand. He's got a bunch of money. He's living his life.
A bunch of dudes in Thailand.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Bro. What's up with him?
Yeah, he's not even training at this point, man. Like there's no way he's gonna be ready for a fight anytime soon. So like if he does say he's gonna fight, it ain't gonna be until like November or December, the earliest, if that. But I don't even know. And then let's say you strip Jones. Who's Aspinall going to fight that's even going to be worthwhile at this point?
Nobody cares. There is no other heavyweight fight to make, man. No. Aspinall just beats everybody else, so it's like he has to fight John Jones. He probably knows that too. He's probably like, man, dude, there's not really anybody that can beat me at. Because I mean, the most dangerous men in the world, heavyweights, their division's like really weak, man. Like there's only like 5 good heavyweights really, and like that's not even great, just good. Like I don't know. I feel like, man, sometimes I be sitting here like, damn, man, I wish I was a heavyweight. I wish I was like this big. Like, it's like,
just like the 6'5", 265, right?
Yeah. I'm like, dang, I don't know why. I guess it's because there's like not a lot of people that walk around at 265 that are like actually big and could fight there. But like, man,
it's tough.
I remember the heavyweight division used to be stacked, bro, back in the day. So I don't know what happened along the way.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird because there's not even outside of like Ngannou and Anatolian Malakhine and one championship. I mean, like there's not a lot of heavyweights even outside the UFC that they could bring in and be like, okay,
it's not,
you know what I mean?
It's not like they have the talent pool to pull from. Like they just There's like a lot of heavyweights. There's a lot of heavyweights on like the Contender Series that are only like 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, like getting a shot to get in the UFC, man. So like, I don't know. I feel like if you're out there and you weigh 260 right now and you're like 6'3" at least, give it a go, man. You probably get in the UFC in a year or two if you get a couple wins straight up.
No, for sure. Like, absolutely. Like, bro, as long as you got some punching power, learn how to maybe defend. You don't even need to learn how to defend takedowns all that much because no one's really grappling. As long as you can throw and land a punch and knock people out, man, you're in the UFC. You have to have a couple fights.
Stand outside the NBA combine. Whoever doesn't get drafted, get into the martial arts right now, right? You're a heavyweight champion in the making.
For sure. I mean, you're talking about these guys like 6'5", 6'6", and extremely athletic, extremely strong. Man,
I don't know, man. I feel that's what I'm saying. I feel like all the tall basketball players out there, tall tight ends that play football. You're not getting drafted to the NBA or NFL, bro. Try your hand at fighting. You're in the UFC in a couple of years. I promise.
Like you said. Yeah, like you said, there's guys that are like 3-0 or 4-0 coming into the Contender Series, and they're getting their shot because it's such a small, shallow division that they need and at all talent as possible coming into that. You know what I mean?
I saw something crazy the other day. Like they only had like 20 heavyweights signed to the UFC roster right now, or something like that.
And mind you, they got rid of some too. And then look at Tai Tuivasa. Look at Tai Tuivasa. He's like on a 5 or 6 fight lose streak. Still in the UFC at this point. Still there.
Tai Tuivasa is nothing but just knockout power, man. He doesn't have like anything else going for him. That's fine. Saying if you're a heavyweight too that can like grapple, like okay, you're ranked, right? Like straight up.
You're ranked.
You're ranked.
But then you look at guys like Carl Williams, for example, right? He didn't grapple until like the 3rd round, and when he did, he dominated Jonata Deniz. But then he got cut. He was like 3-1, and then they cut him. I'm like, that's insane. That's literally insane because they just want guys. I feel like the heavyweight division, they don't want wrestlers. They don't want guys that can grapple. Yeah.
Because the worst thing that happens is the heavyweight fights. They go past the 1st round. That's the worst thing that happens because then both guys are tired and it comes it comes boring. But the best heavyweight fights are always when they come out and just bomb each other for like 3 minutes until somebody goes out. So that's what the UFC wants and that's what they're looking for. So
that's what they tried.
Heavyweight. Yeah.
You look like the Taffa brothers are still in the UFC at this point. I mean, neither one of them should honestly be in the UFC, but here we are.
They give the knockouts. They either get them or they give them. So that's what
exactly.
They want.
And now they're putting Deniz against Taffa, which is they're expecting a knockout within the first 2 minutes of that fight. Someone's going down. You know what I mean? So that's why they put that on. I think it's 317. Yeah, 317. That's gonna be on there. So that's the kind of heavyweight fights that they want. You know what I mean?
But then you have none of these lightweights too in the UFC. Don't be maybe you're stuck in the middle of the pack at lightweight or something. Like you're kind of like a gatekeeper of the lightweight division. I don't know why you wouldn't try to hop up the heavyweight.
I know, right?
You could probably outskill those guys pretty easy. You get in there for a round. Like I said, you work them for a round. Don't really get hit round 1, and then they're pretty much done. So. You just can't get bombed, I guess, in the first couple minutes.
That's why Jalton Almeida is doing so well because he can bounce between light heavyweight and heavyweight. He's only weighing like 230 to 240 something, and he's extremely fast. BJJ black belt, takes everyone down with ease. No one can stop his takedowns, and then he just mauls them from there. He's like the one of the few, other than like Curtis Blades. And Tom Aspinall and maybe Sergey Spivak that have actual grappling abilities and that can actually do both. You know what I mean? Those are that's it. The rest of the division, those dudes are just standing and trying to knock you out.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I don't know heavyweights. I know I lose to all the heavyweights that tried to attack me. So I'm just saying. Sometimes I wish I was 6'5" and 260. So
man, it'll make your life so much easier. I feel like.
Yeah.
not having to go against these freaking small. That's the thing. Going down to weight classes, I feel like you have to be. I'm not taking anything away from heavyweights because they're very skilled in their own ways. A lot of them are very skilled, so don't come at me. But I feel like the lower the weight class, the more the skill kind of shines and the technicality shines.
Well, that's like I said, man. Like, how many people are 6'3" around this earth walking at 260 or even taller or whatever? Like, everybody's 5'10", 145, 155 pounds. So it's like the common man's weight. So it's a lot easier to find talent, I feel, than giants that are trying to knock people out. So
yeah,
I think
and
that's like my reasoning behind it, I guess. Everybody weighs my weight.
I mean, that's true. I mean, and then you look at that's why the UFC doesn't have much talent at heavyweight division. They're trying so hard to do their due diligence and find some talent and a diamond in the rough like they kind of did with Aspinall, right? Because I mean, Aspinall wasn't a huge top prospect when he was coming in. He just worked his way up, and look at him now; he's an absolute star.
Yeah.
So they're trying to find that again, and it's not that easy. But I mean, who knows? They could find one on the Contender Series and 4 wins in a row. He's in a title fight.
Dude, if I was the UFC, like I said, I'd be like a development scout or something, like just going around like to these other sports, these big guys that aren't making it in the NBA, NFL, or whatever, just like suckering them into like, come train at the UFC gym, come try this out, and then just get them a couple wins outside on the regionals, and then throw them in the Contender Series, start like a heavyweight.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
I do think it's that easy. I think the UFC needs to hire me for this. I can help them out. I'll do this. Instead of fighting, I'll be your heavyweight talent scout.
Oh man, I like that. I like that. I mean, they should be having someone be a heavyweight talent scout at this point. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They need it. All right, man. This was great talk. I feel like we got a lot in. We chopped it up, and I really do appreciate you. I know you have some things you got to do out there, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But before I let you go, I want to know, do you have a message out there for all your friends, family, and people that support you that are eagerly awaiting your return on the Contender Series to finally get that UFC contract?
Tune in September 9th. You're going to get a new, better version of me, and I'm going to make it last longer than it did last time. That's for damn sure.
All right, man. Thank you so much. We'll speak soon, and good luck, and we'll see you out there.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.